Hi everyone, so let's work on the user controller here. I will do user.controller. What we are going to do in the user controller, just like let's say we should allow user to onboard. We should be storing the password in the bcrypt form. It's just like open sign up where user enter the email, password and the first name. User should be able to enter in our system. So controller is simple. We have already written the controller code many times. It is just a simple, you import all the required things and then write the controller methods by using the basic syntax. Here we define all the routes. We first importing all the things from the NestJS common. These are some Swagger dependencies which makes our controller API methods exposed on the Swagger docs. API bearer auth, API header, API OK response, OK, API internal server response. These are just to add the required messages on top of your each and every APIs. So your APIs feels good, right? All these guards and all we will create, because once user logs in, user should try to access his own profile. There we need all these guards, strategies and all. These are the DTOs which we are going to define. And with user controller, we also need to define a user service, because controller will talk to user service and user entity we already have. These are a couple of constant, like, okay, every API need to respond with a status code 200, internal server error, another bad request. So these are just a constant message. And this is authorization. Not every message needs authorization header, only the private APIs, and this is the validation pipe. And the controller is users. Now I'm writing user controller. Here you can inject a user service, because user service will have a methods to save the user, validate the user. Now we'll just HTTP status code created, which is 201 type user sign up response DTO. These are the custom Swagger methods which will expose these things on the Swagger docs. Okay, what user created successfully, this is for user creation. What is a API consume, this is the HTTP post create user. We will pass things inside a body. Okay, and here we are just creating a simple user. Okay, this dot service dot create. So we will just talk about what we are going to add inside a user service, because these things I have written many times, so I'm not duplicating the same syntax here. User entity, user controller. Now further you can add multiple methods. Okay, this is post. What I can do is http status code dot okay. This is user updated or user fetched. This should be the get call. Okay, API okay response, because we are not creating here anything. Once you logged in, you should be able to pass the param. So here it should be param. That we will change. Okay, fetch user something like this, and we'll just pass param. Okay, and this will be the get, and we will try to populate your user ID inside a session. So you don't need to do okay get user by ID. When you say get, it will give your own session, I mean own user information, because there will be the APIs. What they will do is they will give us the required session information. Based on that, we should be able to fetch your profile. So we will be adding all these type of guards that I will do later. But okay, authentication token guard, role guard, that even a particular role is allowed. So these are the things which you will add, because this is the private API. Who should be allowed to read the user information? Either I myself or a particular system administrator. And of the access token guard, role guard, they will just help me, so that only the protected user who has the access token should be able to read it. So we will talk about these things little later. I'm just commenting these things out for now. But this is just a simple API. Currently it's a public API, but when you add these guards, it will become private API. So this is to get a user, your own user. There can be a user, another API, okay, give me all the users. So let's create another route. This profile is to give you your own profile. Okay, then we can have another route which says, okay, give me all the users from the system, and only system administrator is allowed to do that. So this is where the role guard comes into picture. Okay, if you are a system administrator on HTTP GET, you should be allowed to fetch all the users. But if you're not a system administrator, I mean, I don't need a role guard here. I just need activation guard, access token guard. That means you should be passing the authorization header. You should be able to fetch your own profile. Okay, so these kind of logics we will write, and then we will add a user service. In user service, we will just create a user inside our platform.